Hello everyone and welcome home. If you've been on Twitter at all recently, you'd see how crazy Fallout has been blowing up. Hell, you'd even say it's the second Great War with all the conflict over whether it's good or not, but it's honestly just really silly because there's only one real way to look at it, and that's my way.
Tomorrow, so they say, will be a lovely day. A bright new sun will suddenly break through. But I don't want to see tomorrow unless I see it with you. Tomorrow, so
If the problem with the world is factions, endlessly fighting, endlessly at war, then what is the solution but to get rid of the factions? To make the world us, only ours to shape.
So if you haven't read the title by now, today we're going to be talking about the Fallout show on Amazon Prime. This will be a spoilery review, so for the love of all that is nuclear, if you haven't, go get Prime, watch every episode of Fallout, and then come back and watch this. So, Fallout, as a TV show. Sounds interesting considering most TV and movies based on video games don't typically work out, right? But don't you worry. This show packs so much game-accurate lore and love into it that you'd think it was a lunch packed for you by the loving hands of a parent with money in the early 2000s. Man, I miss you, hot dog Lunchable. Anyway, the show opens up with Cooper Howard, aka Coop, aka Howard, aka the Ghoul, and his daughter at a birthday party as the bombs begin to fall. They take off on horseback, and then we get blasted into the future. We then see the life and happenings around Vault 33 as our hero and main protagonist Lucy goes about her life as a vault dweller before deciding to get married. When the decision is made to allow her a husband from neighboring Vault 32, the ceremony is planned and then we're introduced to those from 32 and Lucy is married. The reception is short-lived, however, because soon after, it's revealed that these are not dwellers, but raiders. Many dwellers are killed off as Lucy's dad is kidnapped by a woman known only as Moldiver. With the aftermath setting in, Lucy decides to leave the vault in search of her father, and this is where the show really kicks off. From this point, we're introduced to Maximus, an intriguing member of the Brotherhood of Steel who has both cowardly tendencies, but also a couple points thrown into his luck stats for sure. And then, the Ghoul, who we've met before, but is now a completely different entity altogether, as he's become a cold-blooded killer with only one goal in mind: to find his family. This ensemble is an amazing choice to join throughout the show because it gives you multiple avenues to follow. In a way, it reminds me of the choices you face in game. You can become any variety of the character you start off as and can choose from so many paths to take. You want to be in the Brotherhood? You'll like Maximus heavy stories. You want to be a wasteland cowboy? The Ghoul stuff is for you. You want to play as a lawfully good dweller that becomes aware of the bitter reality beyond the safety of your vault? Lucy's your girl. It's amazing what's accomplished through the storytelling and how much it reminds me of the games. On top of the main cast, all of the side characters are played beautifully by an amazing B cast. A favorite of mine being Matt Berry as a serial killing Codsworth.
You seem unhappy.
He did not treat me very courteously.
Really?
When I pointed out that he wasn't following the golden rule, he put a leash around my neck and he made me drink from pot of water that I'm pretty sure was just some kind of animal pee.
Well, that is interesting.
I thought I was here to be a sex slave.
What? No! What a disgusting idea! I'm simply going to harvest your organs.
Huh?
That shit is so fucking funny. He's so fucking funny. Get Hulu. Get Hulu and go watch What We Do in the Shadows. Do it right now. The characters all feel fleshed out in the very few scenes they have, much like the NPCs in-game. Many of them have layers as soon as you meet them, and no, I'm not talking about layers of flesh hanging from their faces, but layers behind their choices in dialogue and the way they interact with the environment around them, sometimes opting out for drug use or attempted suicide instead of facing challenges head on. It's very interesting and very game accurate. And speaking of the game, the show is actually canon to them, which means what happens in the game matters to the show, and vice versa, which I think is a brilliant and refreshing take on the game adaptation genre. You really just don't see this done much when it comes to video game adaptations in film. Looking at like the Sonic movies or Mario or Mortal Kombat, it's always a retelling of the story in the eyes of the director, so placing it in game lore, which everybody's been arguing about, and I know that, and that's all fine and dandy, whatever, fuck them all. But this, to me, in my opinion, is the only one that matters, is an amazing idea. It brings people in to play the games, which means more popularity, means more Fallout shit in our world. And who wouldn't want that? Like, if you're a fan of the game and you don't want more Fallout in your life, you would rather sit there and bitch behind a screen on Twitter because of all these new fans coming in, then what the fuck are you doing, man? What are you doing? Let other people enjoy the fucking game. Anyway, one of the main reasons I really love the idea of placing the show into game lore is because it means not only does the game have more stakes, but so does the show, and it makes me even more excited for a second season, as well as hopefully another game. I'd love to see what befalls the Wasteland with the newfound information that came out in the finale of the first season, let alone that absolutely brilliant cliffhanger. Walking Dead could take notes. And I mean, we actually got to see a Mr. House cameo, as well as who was behind the Great War and the bombs falling. I mean, in my headcanon, it was always Vault-Tec, so it just felt really goddamn good to be vindicated and find out that was actually the case. And not only that, but to shed light on exactly, you know, what Vault 111 from Fallout 4 could potentially have been used for with the cryogenic sleep pods, you know, unless... Of course, that was always just one of the fucked up experiments planned by Vault-Tec and the investors from the start, because as we learned, they were the ones behind the evil experiments on behalf of the ghoul's secretly scumbag-ass wife.
How can you guarantee results?
By dropping the bomb ourselves.
This entire show takes turn after turn, and I had such a hard time predicting anything, because once you think you got it pinned down, it flips it on its head and pivots 90 degrees into something new. The one thing that makes me the most happy about this show is that it really feels like the games, especially when you look at Lucy. In the beginning, she has one clear mission in mind: to find her dad, and she gets sidetracked by smaller quests over and over, just like in the game. But it's these quests that lead to the bigger picture, and ultimately the big reveal at the end that also ties directly into her brother's story arc back in Vault 33. This show loops around and ties up loose ends in all the right places, leaving enough for the viewer to want more. And I'm gonna let you in on a secret. I really fucking do. Hey everyone, that'll be it for today. I hope you liked the video, and if you did, please slash that like button, leave a sub, and ring the bell so you don't miss out on future videos. Also, if you haven't, go get Prime and check out Fallout. It is amazing, and if you disagree with me...
Fuck you.
But as always, I'm your friendly neighborhood hometown killer, and I will see you in the wasteland.
You wanna have sex?
You mean use my cock?
Yeah.
I don't know, that weird thing could happen.
What weird thing?
Well, it's just for some guys, not me. But for some guys, you know, when they make it move, it gets all big and hard like a big pimple, and then it pops. You know, they say it could happen to anybody, but it's gross.
You know, that's actually completely normal. It happens all the time. Every time, ideally.
Jesus.